So you know now President Trump is nominated to be the next Associate Justice on the Supreme Court of the United States, Judge Amy Coney Barrett of the 7th Circuit Court of Appeals. He originally nominated for that position about 3.5 years ago. She formerly was a professor of law at Notre Dame. And again, this is someone who has a long academic background and, of course, has now got the judicial experience. So the Senate Judiciary Committee process is going to start October 12th. Senator Graham wants to wrap it up by October 22nd. There'll only be 2 days of questioning. In that meantime, she'll be meeting with senators, and the attacks will heat up. Some Democrats are saying they won't meet with her at all. I say that's great because they were so nasty to her the first time. Right. Dianne Feinstein is nearly 90 years old. She is the ranking Democrat, so she's the highest-ranking Democrat. I think they're very nervous about having her be the one in charge on the Judiciary Committee. So there is some talk that they may not go at all to the hearings, which I think would be wonderful for Judge Barrett. Yeah, please do it. Yeah. Because we don't need your votes and we don't need your just harassment of the next Supreme Court justice.
Judge Barrett has authored 94 opinions since she's gone on the bench. She clerked, in addition to clerking for Associate Justice Antonin Scalia, the late, great Justice Scalia, she also clerked for the former Chief Judge of the D.C. Court of Appeals, Judge Lawrence Silberman. So she has really sterling credentials in that regard. She's well respected. During her clerkship, she obviously worked with, you come in as a year basically, and in that year, everybody that worked with her, including people in Justice Ginsburg's chambers, the law clerks there, wrote a previous letter saying she's eminently well qualified, one of the smartest people that they've ever met, and that she will do a fair, honest, and great job as a Supreme Court justice, even though they don't agree with the position she was advocating. So I think this bodes well.
She said this about her judicial philosophy. I think this is key for everyone listening right now, because if you wonder about like where she comes at looking at the Constitution, she made it really clear. And in this statement, I think this almost kind of says everything you need to know.
I clerked for Justice Scalia more than 20 years ago, but the lessons I learned still resonate. His judicial philosophy is mine too. A judge must apply the law as written. Judges are not policymakers, and they must be resolute in setting aside any policy views they might hold.
I think Judge Barrett brings to the court an originalist, textualist understanding of both the Constitution and the rule of law. She understands for the nation to remain together as a union that the rule of law must be enforced. Now, that approach is quite different from the approach favored by left-wingers. And if you look at specific decisions that Amy Coney Barrett has reached, particularly in a gun rights case called Cantor versus Barr, also in a case involving due process, involving John Doe versus Purdue University, and thirdly, in a pro-life case, Planned Parenthood versus Commissioners, she took the position that the Constitution trumps policy analysis from judges, and certainly in the pro-life case, Planned Parenthood versus Commissioner, in that particular case, an evenly divided vote of the 7th Circuit denied Indiana's request that it review a 3-judge panel's ruling that invalidated a state provision regulating the disposal of fetal remains. That lower panel, or the 3-judge panel, held that the Indiana law violated the Constitution. Judge Amy Coney Barrett said no, and she dissented from the en banc panel, and in a 7-2 ruling by the United States Supreme Court, a summary disposition judgment, a 7-2 ruling, Judge Barrett's analysis was upheld. In other words, Judge Barrett is saying you must treat fetal remains just like, or at least as good as, the remains of cats and gerbils.
I think she's going to be confirmed, and I don't think. She will be confirmed. She will be seated before the election, and we will have a full 9-panel, full Supreme Court in place for what is likely to be multiple cases that will be involved in at the Supreme Court of the United States.